A few weeks ago, I held a poll on my Patreon for the topic of my next Keyverse deep dive video. And the poll selected this topic. If you want the privilege of influencing what videos I make and access to exclusive Keyverse content, become a member and join a tier today. Now, let's dive into the 9 most important beings in the Eternal Keyverse and the conflict that will bring them all together. Somewhere in this vast, ever-expanding universe, there are 9 beings who cannot die. Not really. Let me explain. When they're killed, they just come back, but in a different body, on a different world, but with the same soul. Kind of like the Avatar cycle, except with 9 different beings. The universe refuses to let them go, because if they disappear, everything breaks. Almost no one knows how or why they exist. And these beings are called the Eternal Keys. They're what I named my entire universe after. And they aren't simply heroes or villains. Their origin predates every single faction, every conflict, every civilization, and every story covered in any previous video on my channel. And for the first time in eons, all 9 keys are converging in the same corner of the universe. And the last time that happened was the Exodus Wars. What's coming next is worse. Much worse. So, what is an Eternal Key? The Eternal Keys are living beings whose souls are bound to one of the fundamental domains of existence. They didn't choose this. They were born into it, across every incarnation. Each key governs one aspect of existence: creation and destruction, cosmic light, nature and growth, mind and emotion, energy and power, spirit, order and chaos, time and space, and last but not least, memory and history. These domains aren't just powers, they're responsibilities. The universe operates differently in the presence of a key, and if they reach their full potential, they basically become gods. When an Eternal Key dies, they are immediately reborn somewhere else within the universe. Different species, different world, different life. But the same soul, the same domain, and for most of them, no memory of what came before. They live entire lives without knowing what they are. They simply influence their corner of the universe with their great power. Sometimes they're heroes, sometimes they're tyrants. And the Eternal Keys rarely find each other. They spread across the universe. An Eternal Key of nature on one side of the universe has no idea there's an Eternal Key of time and space on the other. But there's one exception to this: the last librarian. The one who gave me all of this information to give to you in the first place. And the last librarian is the 9th Eternal Key, the only key who inherits memories from previous incarnations even after reincarnating. But they're not the only key who knows the truth about their existence. The Eternal Keys were not accidents. They were made, 9 fragments of something larger, with a purpose that none of them fully understand yet. At the end of everything, there is a gate, and together, the 9 keys are the only ones who can open it. The Gates of Eden, a metaphysical plane at the edge of the universe. It presents itself to the universe as a physical setting only once all 9 Eternal Keys have been assembled in the same spot, and it has never been opened before. Not yet. But legend has it, when it opens, those greeted at the gates are granted one wish by the Creator, the maker of everything. This wish comes without condition and must be granted no matter what it is. Now, let's move on to the 9 domains that the Eternal Keys rule over. I'm not going to be revealing the identity of every single Eternal Key today, because some of these characters are central to stories that I haven't even published yet. Some of them I haven't even mentioned on the channel, but I can tell you what each key controls and where in the Keyverse you'll eventually find them. Aion, the first key. The paradox of beginning and ending in one being. Each first key is given the mission of creating life throughout the universe by the Creator. But the first key has had the fewest reincarnation cycles throughout history. And this current iteration discovered the shocking truth about his mission. And when he found out, He rebelled against the creator. He almost destroyed everything once, and he's coming back to do it again. The second key embodies illumination, hope, and cosmic radiance. If you've been keeping up with my videos about the Prime Archives, you've already met them. You just don't know it yet. The third key influences life, flora, fauna, and natural evolution. Their story is told in Elysium Rising, my space opera trilogy. But throughout that trilogy, their connection to nature has been severed after becoming a refugee within the Elysian Empire, a technologically advanced society that has abandoned its connection to the natural world. And his journey involves reconnecting himself to his roots and reviving what was once lost within his galaxy. The fourth key's identity is still being developed, literally. I plan on building this character in a future video with you all. But I can tell you what their domain is. They rule over the mind and emotions. And that's all I'll say for now. Key 5, energy and power. Same story for the fifth key. I'm also going to be building this character in a future video. Keys 4 and 5 are the last two eternal keys that I still have to flesh out. However, the last librarian said that I could let you all in on a secret. These two keys are going to be a huge problem for our heroes in the future. The sixth key is the source of arcane force, the metaphysical language of reality itself. Some of you might know it as magic, and they appear in Elysium Rising, working alongside the third key. Yet, both of them are unaware of their true nature, for now anyway. The seventh key mediates order and chaos, balancing them both within themselves. They're one of the central characters of my dark urban fantasy series, the Eldenarian Artifacts. Born in the light, they also have a secret dark side, and within their society, their mere existence is a crime, an abomination, which is exactly what made them the perfect candidate to hold the universal scales within them. The eighth key navigates timelines, dimensions, and spatial reality. As a mere infant, they use their abilities to travel through space, fleeing their war-torn planet in search of safety. Their story begins under a name that you won't recognize, and it isn't the one they were born with. You'll meet them in the adventures of Henry Beck. You can also find out more about all of the stories mentioned so far in the video on screen or in the in-depth phase 1 post on my Patreon. Last but not least, we have the ninth key, the last librarian. They are the only one who remembers everything, every incarnation, every life, every key. They've been alive since the same reincarnation cycle as Aion, and they've been alone with that knowledge for longer than most civilizations have existed. The weight of history is their cross to bear for eternity. The first key controls creation and destruction. In theory, that makes them the most powerful being in the universe. In practice, it makes them the most dangerous thing that has ever existed. Now, who is Aion? Well, he is the first key, and his mission? Carry out the creator's work, populating worlds, seeding life, shepherding civilizations into existence. But he was given one rule: do not intervene with their trajectory. He can only create, no interference. And he did this job and respected this one rule for eons. But eventually, he broke. Many things led to his breaking point. First, the Exodus Wars, a catastrophic conflict involving his species, a near immortal primordial race of aliens gifted with life-altering magic. With his powers as the first key, Aion ascended to the title of God King over his people, and he bestowed a select few with his power of creation. And together, they seeded the universe with life. But eventually, a civil war broke out when his people grew tired of his rule, of their fruitless mission. But Aion continued to believe in the mission, in the creator. He kept fighting, even after watching his people, his family, and his creations destroy themselves for nothing. He watched civilizations crumble. He watched intelligent life forms brutalize each other, and he couldn't understand it. So he went searching for answers. And what did he discover? The decay variable, encoded into his own DNA by the creator, a flaw embedded into his domain of creation. Every world he seeded with life was always doomed to fail. Everything he created had an expiration date, including him. The mission the creator gave him was never meant to succeed, not in the way Aion envisioned. He was designed to fail. So, Aion abandoned this mission. He wiped out his people and his creations. Few were able to flee, thus, the naming of the Exodus Wars. However, Aion didn't arrive at nihilism through despair alone. He got there by logic. If life is fundamentally flawed, if the creator embedded decay into the very instrument of creation, then existence itself is a cruel design. And the only merciful act is to end it. End it all. Aion does not wish to conquer. He does not want to rule. He wants to capture the essence of the other 8 keys, not kill them fully, which would trigger reincarnation, and use their combined power to open the gates of Eden. His wish to the creator: everything must cease to exist, including me and you. The Exodus Wars and Aeon's plot to destroy all life were only ended after the remaining 8 eternal keys, led by the last librarian, banded together to defeat him. But even together, they could not kill him. They could only subdue him long enough to imprison him, trapping him on the hellish world of Anubis on the outskirts of the known universe, beneath active volcanoes and crushing air pressure. He's been there, asleep, for eons. His body is trapped, but his mind is not. He has been mentally projecting himself into corrupted beings across the universe, raising an army in his name without anyone knowing he exists. Aion has been alive long enough to watch entire civilizations rise and fall. He has been imprisoned long enough to be certain. He is not angry. He is not hateful. He is decided. If Aion is the universe's greatest threat, the last librarian is its most reluctant guardian. He is the 9th key, and he is the only eternal key alive who knows Aion exists. Every other key is reborn without memory of previous incarnations. The last librarian is the only exception, as his domain is memory, history. He carries every life he has ever lived. He knows what the keys are, he knows what Aion did, and he knows what's coming. After helping imprison Aion millions of years ago, the last librarian exiled himself to a place between space and time, using the threads of history to create the library at the end of the world, also known as the Infinarium. He chose isolation because someone needed to remember. Someone needed to watch. He is cursed with watching over history, the past and the present primarily. He cannot see the future up until a certain point. The Convergence War sits at the edge of what he can see, much like a veil. He knows it's coming, he just doesn't know how it ends. But the Convergence War is going to force him out of his self-imposed exile, because the only people who can stop Aion are the very beings who don't even know they exist, and someone has to be there to tell them. Here's how things are at this current moment in time. The eternal keys are spread across the universe, each influencing their own sector of space, with no awareness of each other. Oftentimes, entire generations pass without 2 keys ever meeting, but for the first time in eons, the keys are concentrating in the same regions of the universe. 2 have been born on Earth at the same time. 1 has fled to Earth from another galaxy. 2 exist together in the Cygnus Eridani galaxy, the setting of my space opera trilogy, and the others are drawing closer without understanding why. The last time all 9 keys were in proximity to each other was during the Exodus Wars, eons ago. But that's a story for another video. What matters is this: when the keys converge, something is always decided. Something fundamental, something that changes the universe forever. Aion has been waiting, and he's been growing stronger for millennia, projecting his will, building his army, manipulating the keys he can reach. The convergence is the moment his plan becomes reality. When the keys are close enough, their combined essence becomes accessible. The gates of Eden open. The events of Red Skies, the first novel in the Eternal Keyverse, happen in the shadow of something none of these characters can see yet. The Convergence War is coming. Aion is coming. And when he arrives, the ground level conflicts of Earth and other worlds are going to look minuscule in comparison. So let's recap. 9 beings who simply cannot die. 1 who wants to make sure that they finally can. And somewhere in the middle of it all is a universe full of people who have no idea any of this is happening. At least, not yet. And that's just the beginning of the story of the Eternal Keys. My patrons voted on this video topic, and I hope it delivered. Become a member today to influence the future videos that get made on this channel. Also, by joining a tier, you'll be able to get shouted out at the end of my videos, just like these people. Thank you to Vervain Vanity, Ian Henderson, Cameron, Ty Green, Leon Lowe, Sumark Barb, Augustus Silva, Corvin, Trey Noble, The Dog Magician, Donatus Bolton, and Pidgey. My plan is to release a new lore deep dive video every 2 weeks, as it takes quite a bit of time to write the script for these videos, find all the clips for them, and edit it all together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and hype up the video if you want to help out my channel a little bit. Not really sure what that really does, but you know, it's there. And also, leave a comment with your thoughts on the concept of the Eternal Keys. I'm really interested on hearing your guys' take on the world building in my project. I've been LDJ Writes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.